Hi Sandeep. Hi Shiva Reddy. Sandeep Sai. Let's wait for a couple of minutes, guys. Meanwhile, if anyone have any questions, doubts, we can discuss here. I guess you guys already know Power BI, right? Guys, anyone have questions, concerns, doubts, we can discuss today.
Morning, everyone. Morning, Mahesh.
Good morning.
Okay, let's wait for a few minutes. We'll get started.
Hi Kali, hi Maria, Ravi, Shiva, Ravi Shekhar Reddy. So guys, you most of the people know already Power BI, right? Here. Anyone new people here?
Okay. I see few of them are from our batch only. The other few have joined new.
Yeah, maybe we can start slowly. Let's people will join. Meanwhile, anyone have questions or doubts, we can discuss, guys. Like Power BI opportunities, calls or something. Anyone have doubts, right? So we can discuss happily today. Any questions regarding that?
So Mahesh, this is from US. When you gonna start publishing our resumes after finishing
We can
this?
start today onwards.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but thing is, you have to be gain the knowledge, right? We can
Mm-hmm.
start working on it. We will take one session on resume building, but US resume making and India resume making little difference mostly, and depends on your visa status and you are applying own or else any consultancy. We need to verify
Okay.
that. And mostly resume should be have a more skill set. And another thing, maybe Python also required for US people
Okay.
who are applying for US. India is fine without Python, we can expect, but US they may expect Python also, basics of Python. But we can see. So what's your visa status, ma'am?
H4EAD?
Sure, EAD. You are applying own or else any vendor is there?
No, I'm on my own.
Then better you can start focusing on LinkedIn and Dicey, LinkedIn mostly. And you have to be more active. It looks like how you are booking TTD tickets, right? You have idea in TTD tickets booking, Tirumala Darshan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like example, they are opening the slot window at 9 o'clock, or else like in Tatkal tickets also. At 9 to 9:30, how frequently that curiosity will be there, right? That much curiosity we have to showcase on LinkedIn as well.
Within 1
Immediately,
hour.
the first 10, 15 minutes only, yes, almost 100 people are applying jobs.
I have seen that.
I guess you are already on it, right? Trying, right?
Yeah.
Not yet. You are active in LinkedIn or not yet, ma'am?
No, I'm in active only.
Active, right? Yeah. So you know, right? These things, how it's.
H4 is dependent visa, right? Correct?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Okay. You are active on LinkedIn. I mean, I've seen your post impressions are also good. So yeah, and let's continue the same. Maybe you can start applying so that you'll get a
Actually,
good
in US
impression.
and slowly India market also, they are focusing on our LinkedIn profiles. How we are really data professionals are not like how old this LinkedIn account. Recently, I got to know one shocking news. There are some people that are renting LinkedIn accounts, old LinkedIn accounts. Per month, some bucks they are giving. Example, 3 years, 4 years old LinkedIn account is there. So the LinkedIn, we can change the names and all. So these people are misusing that, particularly for US market. Maybe it's recording, huh? Okay. Our LinkedIn also is very important.
Ritesh, what about the certifications?
So course completion certificate, you will get it. But honestly, it's not the useful to you. You
It's
have to
not
write
the
exam for
course.
PL 300 or D 600.
Yeah, that is what I'm asking.
Huh?
When is the good time to attempt those certification exams?
You can attempt right now. If you are prepared Power BI, because this PL 300, right? Power BI.
Yep,
Yeah, PL 300 only on Power BI. No need of Azure, no need of SQL in that. If you know Power BI and DAX well, yes, you can attempt right away.
So, will you guys provide any dumps or
Dumps, so we can get it
materials?
from my internet
I
also.
can share. I can share.
But
Dumps
first
are
of all,
okay.
instead of using dumps, you can give a dummy test. There are multiple practice tests will be there. First give one practice test, later you can go for the actual one.
Okay. Yeah, like
And
any
I'll share
material.
the website also where you can practice it. Even it would be helpful or beneficial. The real-time dumps are also available on that website. Probably I might have shared, but again, I'll reshare it so that it's open for everyone.
Sure, Ritesh.
Okay, for time being, let's get started. I'll start sharing my screen. See, some more today's session would be moreover a normal discussion. We may not be directly jumping to what is cloud, how it works, but somewhere it will give you an idea what we are looking, why there is the importance of this cloud. So all that we would be going through, right? So very good morning and warm welcome to KSR. Um, See, let's start with an interesting discussion. It's just a story. Huh? So just a normal story. There is a small boy. Um, he he's a very enthusiast to complete his graduation, any kind of graduation, and he's very enthusiast to learn the data because data is everywhere now. Data is present in every aspect which you're trying to consider. Maybe if you have a look around yourself, somewhere or something is related to data. So that person, that boy is very enthusiastic. He's a college graduate. He's very enthusiastic to learn. He's very enthusiastic to do some research on data, right? Now, this person, once he completes his graduation, might be any graduation, might be engineering, might be non-engineering background, he completes his graduation. So once the graduation is done, now the most important part is he gets a good job. He might have got a good job. Let's assume he might have got a good job related to Power BI. Now, once he got a good job related to data analyst role, any job, I mean, let's not only consider data analyst job, let's consider a normal job also. The very first thing which person tries to purchase, I mean, if you have got a job, maybe you will purchase something for ourselves, for your own perspective, you will try to purchase some product. Might be any product. And let's re-revise it. If you have got a good job, how many of you have purchased a new product and what was your first new product? Maybe if you are working for any other non-tech role also, there are few working people. Now, this person, the graduate person, he's trying to purchase some product. So let's assume what is the first product? Assume yourself as this boy. What would be the first product which you would be purchasing once you get a good job? Anyone? You might have got a good job that you're trying to purchase a product. What would be the first product which you would be trying to purchase?
Microsoft.
Any product, right? Which product? Yes, any product. You might have got a good job that you'll not end up directly purchasing a house, right? You'll not end up directly purchasing a car. Maybe you'll start with the small products. So any product which you would be purchasing, assume yourself as this boy.
Any electronic device.
Phone or something, sir. iPhone.
Okay. Phone, very good. I mean, phone is the one which everyone targets, right?
Bike,
Basic
Laptop.
laptop,
I
very good.
two-wheeler.
Okay, very good. Two-wheeler, okay. Even that can be a case. Let's assume the same person is trying to. He had a normal mobile. He had a normal mobile while doing his graduation. Smartphone. Nowadays, normal mobile doesn't mean a feature phone. He also had a smartphone, but it was a normal smartphone. And whenever he graduated, right, he's completed his graduation, he wants to change his device. The very first product which usually people target once you get a good job, once you're earning person, the very first product which everyone targets is your phone. I mean, I'm not sure how many of you around this 30 people have a phone with more than 512 GB storage. Anyone here who has a phone, might be iPhone, might be any Android phone, who has a storage of more than 512 GB? Anyone here? 1 TB, 512 GB. Usually people end up purchasing maximum of 256. I mean, I'm not seen people, rarely I've seen people purchasing 512 or 1 TB. Anyone here? Or everyone somewhere around 128, 256 GB, which is common nowadays. Right? I don't think anyone has 512 or 1 TB. Anyway, so the same person, this boy, while completing his graduation, he had a normal smartphone. So with that normal smartphone, somewhere that smartphone had a storage of 128 GB, which was more than enough, right? While his graduation, which was more than enough. Now he felt the presence that after his graduation, he got a good job. He felt the presence that he need to change this device. He needs to change, or somewhere he's trying to purchase a device with double the size of what the storage he had earlier. Now this was a normal device, normal smartphone. Maybe he'll try to purchase a smartphone because a person is trying to purchase the same product again. That means he will purchase an upgraded product. Now, that same person visits any store and is trying to purchase a new mobile. Now, there are two options. Either he'll purchase from 128 to 56, which is common because he has to purchase a product which is maybe totally different, may not be the same storage, which is more common. Now, there are two ways. Either he will purchase online, the other one is offline, right? So 256 GB, the size has increased, the storage size is doubled. Now, if he's trying to purchase online, 90% of the time people tend to buy online, which is current market trend. Okay, if you get good offers offline, we might end up purchasing offline also. If there is any festival, if there is any some sale going on, maybe year-end sale, anything related to some additional discount, we'll try to purchase it offline. Now, if that person is trying to purchase a product online, what would be the sources he would be purchasing? He might be using Amazon, right? He might be using eBay for the US folks. He might be using Flipkart in India, if he's from India. So these are all the websites, the online purchasing websites, or he might be using Walmart as well. Even if he tries to purchase any product, he might be using Walmart. So these are all the online websites. So what do you mean by online website? Somewhere, if you're trying to connect to Amazon, I mean, you can check what that product is, how that product is, what is the configuration of that mobile he's trying to purchase. Might be an iPhone, might be an Android phone, might be a phone with certain, I mean, there are new devices, there are new phones in market, which has a full screen. I mean, even if you fold that, it would be half a screen. So totally, there are different products which are launched in the market. So if you want to see all this description, you need to visit your website. Now, where that website is hosted. Even Amazon is hosted on cloud. Flipkart is also hosted on cloud. eBay is also hosted on cloud because you're trying to connect that website. That website is hosted on cloud and you can access that website from anywhere around the world. You can access it from India. You can access it from any geographical location. You can access it from your mobile. You can access it from your laptop. Anywhere you can access, it would give you that same results. Why? Because it is connected to a centralized repository, which is nothing but cloud. Now, online means default, it's a cloud connection. Now, if not online, that person is trying to purchase it offline because he's very eager. He has to purchase a product, that too on the same day. I mean, there are websites which deliver that product on same day also, but he's trying to purchase a product from offline store. Now, if that person visits an offline store, what are the cases? I mean, what he needs to go through? He needs to visit a store. Once he visits a store, once he finds that device is good enough to purchase, at payment method, he would be using a credit card or debit card. Now, same goes with online also. But in case of online, the website itself is on cloud. That means whatever processes you are doing further while purchasing, everything would be on cloud. In case of offline store, okay, the store is physically you're visiting, physically you're checking the device, but while making a payment, the payment gateway is connected to cloud. Now, once the payment is done, if you are getting a hard copy of a bill, that bill is also downloaded from a website or it is registered on a website. That website is also hosted on a cloud. Now, at whatever step you are considering, all the steps are migrating towards cloud. one centralized repository, which is nothing but a cloud. You take any example in today's world, if you now, once the phone is also purchased, accepted, he has made a payment, he has got a physical copy of the bill, which is also connected to website, which is hosted on cloud. Now, he earlier had a device of 128 GB, right? Now he wants to transfer all this data to this 256 GB new phone, which he has purchased. So if he wants to transfer, he has to use a cloud connection here. Maybe he wants to transfer his WhatsApp. So that WhatsApp would be transferred from the cloud itself. Now, once he is transferring, let's assume that there are certain apps, there are certain data which he doesn't want to copy from old phone to new phone. So that copying process, we can assume it as what he's doing. He's trying to extract some data from the old phone. He's trying to load that data into new phone. And while extracting and loading to a new phone, he's trying to filter that data. Now that filter, you can call it as a transformation. You're doing some transformation, you're doing some filtering. So this process, you can call it as a ETL. Somewhere it is similar like ETL, may not be exactly ETL, but if he is moving from data, I mean, some data from old phone to a new phone, he's trying to use some extraction, I mean, extracting from older device, filtering whatever data he wants to copy, may not be copying everything, and loading it to the cloud, I mean, loading it to the new device. I mean, there can be certain apps which are directly connected to cloud. So you can directly open it in the new device also, like WhatsApp. So he uses cloud for some applications. There also cloud comes into picture. Now, if he's transferring some physical data, he's transferring it using ETL process, somewhere similar to ETL. Now, ETL, I mean, this is more a kind of physical ETL. Nowadays, everything related to ETL can also be done on cloud. Can also be done on cloud. Now, once the applications are connected to cloud, accepted everything, that person is going good. After 1 year, he felt that that 256 GB is not enough. That 256 GB is not enough post 1 year. He's a very, I mean, camera enthusiast person. He tries to click pictures. He tries to, I mean, what you say, read some videos or create some videos, right? So that 256 GB storage is also full. Now, within 1 year, if 256 GB storage is full, what is the secondary thing which he would do? He would purchase a new mobile device, or he would end up getting some space from cloud. I mean, if it's an Android device, he might rent a space from the Google one, the cloud, or maybe if he's using an iPhone, he can use an iCloud. Because if he's trying to purchase a new device, it would cost you somewhere around 1 lakh. I mean, I'm talking about Samsung Galaxy, I'm talking about iPhone. Maybe if you're trying to purchase a normal phone also, it would cost you 20, 25, 30,000 also. But rather than purchasing a new product, why can't he go with cloud? He will compress all his files, all his photos, all his videos, which he has recorded, and he'll dump it to cloud, which will reduce the space on the mobile. So he can, I mean, take new pictures. So that person who had a mobile device, he's upgrading his mobile device. Whenever he's upgrading, online or offline, in both the condition, cloud comes into picture. While transferring the devices, I mean, for transferring the data from old to new device, there also cloud comes into picture. Now, post 1 year, if his data storage is full, he wants to dump his data somewhere to some application, somewhere he can access it anywhere. So that is also cloud. Now, this is just an example related to mobile. You take any real-time example in current world, maybe you're utilizing laptop, maybe you're utilizing any applications which you can access it from any part of the world. Everything is connected to cloud. So 70% of the world is working on cloud nowadays. 70% of the world. I mean, anything related to current world, current market is all related to cloud. So that's how cloud is very important. This is just a mere small example. You consider anything. Maybe you have a laptop device, and using that laptop device, I mean, you have got a good job, right? So you need to connect to your client network. So while connecting a client network, we need to use a VPN, virtual private network, because client wants to understand that whether you are following his rules and regulations. You're not sharing his data outside the client access. So in order to get this client access also, it's all about VPN. VPN is nothing but more a kind of virtual machine. You're virtually connecting the cloud network, I mean the client's network, and you're accessing his data. So it is nothing but a cloud. So wherever, whichever website you consider, all the websites are based out of cloud, because you can access that website from any part of the world. So anything which you consider in nowadays, 70% of the world is running on cloud, and that is how cloud is capturing the market. Now, once we would be learning cloud, that means what is the importance of cloud you might have got. So why the reason to work on cloud? I've given you an idea, because everything which you consider in surrounding is related to cloud. Now, why only certain clouds? I mean, you have competitors in cloud, right? Not only one cloud is available. You have Azure, you have AWS, you have GCP. Now, these are the three major cloud providers. Along with this, we have Oracle Cloud also. Along with this, we have the Salesforce Cloud as well, right? There are many other cloud services. These are the commonly used cloud services. 5 have a good market presence in current world. Now, why cloud is important? You might have got an idea, but you need to choose which cloud is more suitable for us. Which cloud is more suitable for us? Now, as I've said, this course, and this specifically, this course is developed for people who have a good understanding in Power BI, who has a very good understanding in Power BI. The Power BI may be a basics of SQL also. If you have a good understanding in basics of SQL, that would be more added advantage. Now, one who wants to learn cloud, who has a good understanding in Power BI, the first thing is Power BI is a product of Microsoft, right? Now, if you have a synonym of this, among these 5 clouds, Azure is the product of Microsoft. So there is some similarity with Azure with respect to Power BI. Now, I mean, there is a possibility you can use AWS cloud also and connect it to Power BI. Why can't? I mean, there is a possibility. We can use GCP also. We can connect the GCP services to Power BI. Even that is visible. We can use Oracle also. Now, see, one who has a good understanding of Power BI has Azure connector. Power BI also has AWS connector. Power BI also has GCP connector. But with respect to Oracle, with respect to Salesforce, there are no direct connectors available in Power BI. There are no direct connectors. But if you want to connect the Oracle data to the Power BI application, is there a feasibility? Can we connect it to the Power BI? May not be directly, but yes, definitely there is a feasibility. There are some ETL tools which you need to use. So these ETL tools connect with Oracle. These ETL tools connect with some other external cloud service. They'll extract that data. They'll transform it as per Azure's requirement, and then they dump it to the Power BI. Because Azure is sufficient, it's a Microsoft product, it would be somewhere similar like Power BI connectors. So if you want to dump anything which is not directly supported to the Power BI, you need to use certain cloud, you need to use certain ETL services which are based out of cloud. So that ETL services are ADF. ADF, it's a product of Azure. Azure means it's a service present in Azure. So ADF is nothing but an ETL tool which we can use it. We have certain connectors in ADF which can connect to some other cloud services also and extract the data and dump it into services, dump it into certain area which is easily connectable to the Power BI. Now, if you consider Azure, AWS, and GCP also, Azure has some 100 connectors in Power BI. AWS has 3 connectors. GCP has 2 connectors. I mean, only 2 services of GCP can be connected to Power BI. Only 3 services of AWS can be connected to Power BI, whereas 100 plus services can be connected to the Power BI of Azure. Why? Azure is a product of Microsoft. It is directly compatible. What you see in Azure, that can be similarly viewed in Power BI also. Because both are product of Microsoft, both are compatible, both are somewhere their background architecture would remain same. The data flow architecture would remain same. So you need to choose which cloud is best for us. Now, after all this analysis, what I felt is Oracle is not directly connectable. Okay, you need to use some service ADF, which is based out of Azure. If you want to use Salesforce also, again, we need to use some ETL services, which is again, the same ADF. That ADF is also dependent on Azure. Now, if you take a competition of Azure, AWS, and GCP, see, 3 connectors, 2 connectors, or somewhere around 100 connectors of Azure. So which is more feasible? The Azure is more feasible as compared to AWS and GCP. Now, I'm not saying that AWS and GCP are downgraded. They are also one of the cloud leaders. But person who knows Power BI, for them, Azure is more compatible, Azure is more understandable, and Azure is easily integratable with Power BI. Because you can integrate Azure with Power BI, as we have 100 plus connectors available with respect to Microsoft services. So we have filtered again. Cloud is important, accepted. Along with this cloud, watch which cloud is more feasible. Azure is more feasible if you want to learn, if you want to integrate it with Power BI. I'll take a pause. Any questions? Why Azure? Why cloud and why only Azure? That is what we have covered. Maybe going further, why only cloud is required? I mean, if it's only Power BI, if it's only SQL, why cloud is required in current market? That is also very important, right? So as a data analyst, I mean, I've directly started, but let me introduce myself. I am Ritesh. I have 7+ years of experience in IT industry. So this is all my basic details. I work with Microsoft. I'm working for Microsoft only, but by an Indian MNC as a vendor. But yeah, I've worked on different fields. I have different projects related to Microsoft. So in all these 7 years, I've been working on Power BI. I've been working on SQL. I've been working on multiple Azure services. So that was my brief introduction. Now, as a data analyst, this is the exact role of data analyst. See, nowadays, any person who is a data analyst, it is not only Power BI, right? Earlier, it used to be only Power BI. If you go back -6 years, somewhere around 2018 or 19, only Power BI would have got you a good job. Again, fast forward +3 years from 2018 to 2021. In 2021, if you have a good knowledge of SQL and Power BI, yes, you might have got a good job. But post 2021, starting from 22, 23, or maybe in last year, current trend, what it shows is person who has an idea about cloud, SQL, and Power BI are demanding in market because cloud is everywhere. So every data analyst or every company who wants to hire a data analyst, they are expecting that they should know some cloud services which are useful for some transformations, which are useful for getting some data. So this is the exact role of a data analyst. If you see, it all starts from the raw and unstructured data. It might be present in any cloud service. So he need to extract the data. He need to transform or clean or filter that data and then load it to some location, maybe a SQL database, maybe a data warehouse. From there, he needs to connect it to the Power BI. So here, all 3 services comes into picture. Data, the ETL is also part of cloud. The SQL data warehouse or data warehouse, you can call it as a SQL. Maybe your data is also coming from one of the SQL cloud sources only. So cloud is there, SQL is there, and visualization is nothing but your Power BI. So all three services are important, and only now the big question is, if I'm working on cloud, if I want to learn any cloud services, doesn't it become a data engineering? See, a person who is a pure data engineer, he would continuously work on extracting the large chunk of data. Now, the data engineer rarely he has a touch related to Power BI. He'll never come down to Power BI. What his role is, get the data from multiple data sources, integrate it at one location, make some transformation, and then dump it to SQL. So there you need to learn Python, there you need to learn big data. This is more a kind of data engineering. But as a data analyst, if your data is not available as per expectation, you need to get it from the source. You can also work on certain cloud services which are useful. May not be your expertise in Power BI, may not be your expertise in big data, but if you have a good understanding of ETL, if you have a good understanding of basic cloud services, you can yourself go back and extract the data. So that is more a data analyst. Data engineering is continuously integrating data, which is not our role. Our role is to get data which is useful for us, dump it, and then we create the reports. So that is the role of data analyst, or that is the role of BI analyst, more a kind of business intelligence analyst, right? So this is the exact role, where the data is coming from, what you need to do in between, and then the end users are, I mean, the end reports which are used by some business users. So complete end-to-end flow of a data analyst. Now, as I've said, if cloud comes into picture, cloud also has certain rules and regulations, certain architecture behind it. Now, what is that architecture, right? So in detail, we will cover that architecture. Let's take a normal example. So you have your own car. Let's suppose that person has a own car. So own car means you have to drive your own car. So drive means you will own that car, you will drive your own car, you have full authority to do what you want for that car. So you are the complete owner. But if you want to hire a car, maybe a taxi, you have hired a car. Car means what? You're getting some product. I mean, you have that authority to sit in that car. You can lease that car. You can use it wherever you want. Leased car means there would be a driver also available. So wherever you want to go, he will drive you there. That means you have infrastructure. That means you have a car, you have that infrastructure. You can hire a driver. I mean, you'll get a driver. You want to visit certain location, he would drop you to that certain location. He'll get around whatever location you're trying to say. Now, if you hired a taxi, see, there is a difference between a leased car and a taxi. Leased car means wherever you want to go. I mean, you give him an idea that I want to go to certain so-and-so location. You have full flexibility. You can visit that location. But you have hired a taxi. While hiring a taxi, you need to share your start location and end location. Within that place only the taxi would go. So there are certain restrictions. Now, what is that restriction? You get an infrastructure, but it is a limited infrastructure. Now, that limited infrastructure is called as a platform. Now, what is IaaS, PaaS? And there is one more component. Now, you did hire a taxi. You're using a public transport, maybe bus, metro, whatever public transport you're using. The thing is, you are not the owner. You only get flexibility. That means at whichever location you want to enter and whichever location you want to get down, you have an option while traveling on bus. You need to purchase a certain ticket. Now, you are having least option there. That means you are not the owner. You have no rights to use. You have no rights to completely own that bus. The only thing is you can travel it. I mean, you can use that bus for traveling. So there are three different infrastructures. If you compare with this example, in cloud, whenever you are having a leased car, that means you have full right. If you want to visit so-and-so location, you can explain the driver, you can inform that driver, he'll drop you, he'll roam you around whichever locations you want. So full flexibility means you are getting full infrastructure access. Because you are getting full infrastructure, that means you're getting full access to that. device, that car. You are getting full access. Now, while booking a taxi, there also you will have access, but with certain limitations. That means you are not getting a complete infrastructure, rather you are getting a platform. That platform is what? In that platform, you need to mention what is start and end location. So you are getting infrastructure, but limited infrastructure, that is platform. In case of bus, you will not decide what is start location, you will not decide what is end location. Bus has its certain route. You want to get that bus at certain location and you want to, get down from that bus to a certain location. It's your own right. So you are only getting some idea that I want to travel from so and so location. That process is called as software. You're not getting full access. So basically in cloud, there are three different structures. One is complete infrastructure. One is you are getting infrastructure, but not complete, which is called as platform. And the other one is you are neither getting infrastructure, you are neither getting platform, only you are getting some access to that infrastructure, which is nothing but a software. So this is a simple example. Infrastructure as a service is one of the service which is available. Platform as a service is nothing but one of the service which is available, and software as a service is nothing but one of the service available. All three services are available in cloud. So cloud has certain architecture. We would jump to that architecture further, but let's understand how this architecture is. Infrastructure as a service, that means complete authority. Platform as a service means certain restrictions. And if you have full restrictions, that means you're only accessing that service, which is nothing but software as a service. Now, in simple terms, if you take a look at this example, you want to see, this is slightly different example. So how this example works is, in case of infrastructure as a service, the blue ones, transport, routing, accommodation, luggage transfer, these are all done by yourself. The other things are managed by whatever booking you're doing. These are all managed by some other entities. So in case of software as a service, everything you have to manage as a person. Now take it vice versa. As an individual, if you're using a software, that means you have all the rights. You can use whatever you want. You visit a website, you can do travel booking, you can do medical insurance, you can visit a visa, maybe any website where you want to get your visa renewed, right? The government websites. So there are certain services where you will get complete access, but that access is limited, which is called as software as a service. Now, if you are getting certain websites where you have full authority to make some changes, which is nothing but infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure as a service means the orange ones are infrastructure as a service, because these are not managed by us. These are completely managed by certain organization. That organization, you can call it as a cloud provider. Whereas platform as a service is nothing but certain limitations between software and infrastructure, which is clubbed between both of them. Now we will discuss in detail about this, but the best example is this. If you have leased a car, that means you have got an infrastructure. If you have leased a taxi, you have got infrastructure, but limited access. But if you are visiting, if you're traveling by bus, bus will never stop as per our expectation. It will stop at certain locations only. So you're only accessing that bus. That means you're only getting some service, which is nothing but software. So in infrastructure, complete access, platform, semi-access, software, only basic access. That's how the flow of cloud architecture is. More is this infrastructure as a service is highest, then comes the platform as a service, then comes the software as a service. So this is the basic architecture of any cloud. You take an example of any cloud, all the clouds has this similar architecture. Right? Any questions on this cloud infrastructure? Any questions on this?
Hello, Hitesh.
Yep.
What is cloud computing?
Now, what is cloud computing is what
Yeah.
you are managing on cloud is nothing but your cloud computing. You're learning something, you're managing that cloud service as per your expectation. That means that management is called as cloud computing. So you have a laptop, how your laptop should behave, you have full authority, right? You can have certain
Yeah.
back keys, you can manage your laptop, which folder you are accessing, it's all about you. So similarly, how you are managing your cloud as per your expectation, that is nothing but your cloud computing. You're managing that cloud, right?
Okay.
So that is all about cloud. Why cloud is important, why only Azure is important. And once you get into Azure, what is the structure of that cloud? How that cloud behaves? What is infrastructure? What is platform? What is software? So I've given you a basic idea. So this is what we would be learning in further sessions. Today's session is more a kind of just to give you an idea about why cloud. I mean, why you need to learn cloud. So that is what their primary aim was. I've given you a basic idea. Now, what and for whom this course is developed for? So this course is developed for people who already know Power BI. As I've said, if you know Power BI and you want to get a good chance of learning cloud, because nowadays it is more important, this is what the current market trend is. If you know SQL, if you know Power BI, you should also know cloud. Now, may not be end-to-end cloud, but if you know some cloud, which is some cloud services, which are useful for a data analyst point of view, which is more than enough. Now, what we would be learning in this complete program or this complete the Azure Fabric environment, we would be learning basics of Azure infrastructure. We would be learning Azure Data Factory, which is one service. So I'll keep it as service one. In detail, we would be learning because this is more important and this is a ETL service. ETL is most important part which a data analyst should also know. We would be learning one more service, which is nothing but a key vault. There is one more service called as service principals or app registrations, which is third service. We would be learning how SQL Server is created, how a database is created, how can you maintain that database. Yes, we would be learning that as well. Now, as I've said, a person who knows Power BI and SQL, this is recommended for them. This batch or this program is recommended for them. Now, this is one more service, which is storage service. Just like we have storage in our mobile devices, in cloud also you can create your own storage where you can dump your data. Might be image, might be any CSV file, might be any Excel file, whichever file you want to dump to certain location, that location is called as a storage account. So this would be fifth service. We would be learning basics of Databricks because a person who has a knowledge about cloud, he should also have certain knowledge about how a data engineer's life is. May not be complete data engineering, but basics of Databricks, which is also useful for our future analysis. We would be learning Synapse. Synapse, again, basics of Synapse, which is seventh service. And we would be learning Logic Apps, which is eighth service. Again, it would be basic. Right? So these all services, except 6, 7, 8, these are all basic services. We may not cover everything in detail. So apart from this, all 5 services which I've listed, starting from Data Factory, Key Vault, Service Principal, SQL Server and Storage Analysis, how database is created, storage services, we would be learning all 5 services in detail. In detail, we would be going through all these 5 services. The other 3 services would be basics, where I would be covering how that service is useful for a data analyst. And this complete program duration is of 1 month. Now, today's 9th, you can assume that by 9th of February, we would be completing this complete Azure program, which would have 22 sessions, somewhere around 22. Now, this course is developed in such a way that you would have a good understanding about Data Factory, which is most commonly asked cloud service for any Power BI developer role. Because ETL is important. If you know ETL, that means you are half of the, the extraction of data, half of the filtering data, half of the transformation of data. Whatever data you are extracting, that part is completely managed by yourself as a data analyst. You may need not require an additional person like a data engineer to get that information, to clean it for you, and then you can use it for your Power BI reporting. If you know ETL, that means you are confident enough that you can manage your cloud service also, and then you can create your own reports. So that is the ideal requirement which every organization is looking. Now, it would be 1 month duration, 22 sessions. We would be covering everything in detail related to the first 5 services, which are useful. The next 3 services I would be covering with respect to, as a data analyst, whatever is required from Databricks point of view, whatever is required from Synapse point of view, whatever is required from the Logic Apps point of view. So that's how the program is developed. Now, coming down to Microsoft Fabric, until now we were discussing about Azure. Now, this course also includes Microsoft Fabric. What is Microsoft Fabric? See, in simple terms, if you take a look at this picture itself, this picture will give you an idea. Again, I'll reiterate, Microsoft Fabric is based out of Azure. It is based out of Azure. So Microsoft Fabric itself is hosted on cloud. That cloud is Microsoft Azure, because both are product of Microsoft. Now the question is, why we would be learning Azure also, and why would we would be learning Fabric? See, whatever you learn in Fabric is all present in Azure. If you learn Data Factory, which is nothing but ADF, which is also present in Azure. If you learn Data Warehouse, which is nothing but your SQL, it is also present in Azure. I mean, I've given you an idea. SQL Server is also part of Azure Cloud. So complete Microsoft Fabric suite itself is part and parcel of Azure. The reason to create a separate Microsoft Fabric is, person who is working as a data analyst, especially as a Power BI, a BI developer, whichever services are useful for him, rather than creating all that services independently in Azure, why can't he have an access to one single service, which is nothing but Microsoft Fabric? Fabric is nothing but a combination of services clubbed together, which are useful for a data analyst. If you are a data analyst or if you are a BI analyst, and whichever services are useful for these two roles, from the cloud, they have clubbed that services and created a one single service, which is nothing but a Microsoft Fabric. So if you want to access Fabric also, you need to access via Azure only. It is based out of Azure. So what we would be learning in Azure, which is ADF, it is also present in Fabric. So if you learn this ADF independently, you can easily get this Data Factory in Fabric. See, the UI of Fabric is not that user-friendly. The Fabric is developing, yes, since last 2 years, when it was introduced in 2023, since last 2 years, Fabric has evolved a lot. It has improved a lot. So if it would have been 2023, I would have said Fabric is not up to the mark. If it would have been -1 year, which is 24, I would have said Fabric is developing, but it is not yet that market level, market standard is not there. But in 2025, I can say that Fabric has evolved a lot, but this is not complete product. There is some still development going on, still some updates going on. So the UI of Fabric is not that very efficient. So what we recommend is, all these services are also available in Azure. So whichever service we would be covering in Fabric, all that services are available. Now, anyways, Power BI, we have already covered. For this batch, it's already covered. And this course is only developed for people who already knows Power BI. So except Power BI, all these services are also available in Azure. We would be covering all these independent services just because the UI of Azure is easy. Azure is nothing but your high level cloud architecture. From this, if you learn any service, you can learn all the services in Fabric in one single day also. So that is how this course is developed. We would be learning independent services in Azure, and that same service you can implement it in Fabric. See, if this is Azure, inside Azure, ADF is one service. And Fabric is also one service. Fabric is also part and parcel of Azure only. So if you want to learn Fabric, Fabric itself has ADF embedded in it, which is Data Factory. Fabric itself has SQL embedded in it, which is Data Warehouse. Fabric itself has some AI ML algorithm tools, which is nothing but data science. So all these services are also independently available in Azure, but all these services are clubbed together as a single umbrella and they are kept in Fabric. Fabric is nothing but a part and parcel of Azure cloud. So what you learn in Azure, that can be similarly implemented in Fabric. Now I've given you a reason. I could have directly started with Microsoft Fabric only. But if I start with Microsoft Fabric, you will never get the architecture of cloud. How the cloud architecture is. Microsoft Fabric, in Fabric, there is nothing like infrastructure, software, or platform. If you want to learn all these three components, you need to learn cloud from basic. So if you want to learn cloud, that means you need to learn independent services. Then you can jump into a combined service, which is nothing but Microsoft Fabric. So along with these services, we would be learning Fabric also simultaneously, because if you learn ADF, you can easily do that ADF using Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric, which is one and the same. It will work similar like Data Factory. End to end, it would be same with slight change in user interface. That's it. The rules, regulations, what you do, everything is same. So we would be learning Fabric along with Azure services simultaneously. So this is the complete course, 1 month. The course would be for 5 days a week. I mean, we have sessions from 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, 22 sessions in 1 month. We would be covering everything in 22 sessions. Everything in the sense, in detailed Data Factory. While learning Data Factory only, all the below 4 services will come into picture. Like Key Vault, Service Principal, SQL storage, normal storages, all these will come into picture. And at the end, we would be covering basics of Databricks, Synapse, and Logic Apps. May not be end to end because this is more a kind of data engineering. But you should also know the understanding about the services. What are these services? How they are beneficial for us. So we would be going through all these services basics. Right. So this is the complete course. Any questions related to this course? Any questions until now what I've covered? So I'm open for questions.
Hi, team. Good morning.
Hey, morning.
Yes, I'm Josue. So I'm very interested in this course. So my question is, are we gonna have like weekly tests or weekly exams or hands-on activities, to reinforce the knowledge we get daily?
Okay, so see, if I'm trying to explain any service in Azure, that doesn't mean I would be only explaining. I want you people to practice this service. So you also need to activate this Azure portal. You also need to practice once, maybe on daily basis. If not daily, maybe on weekends. If you get time on weekends, you can practice on weekends. But whatever I'm practicing it on Azure, similar things you can practice it on from your own end in the Azure portal itself. Now for Microsoft Fabric, you will get a email ID along with license for 60 days. Now, one who have already joined with Power BI, they have already activated the Fabric. You can utilize that Fabric for next 30 days. I guess you have 30 or 25 days left, which is more than enough. Now, one who would be joining new, they would get an email ID along with the KSR email ID along with the Fabric license. So this is totally free. What I would be practicing on Azure portal, similarly, you should practice from your end. So how to practice? You need to activate this Azure portal. which is nothing but your daily practice. So I'm not the person who is only explaining. I want you people to practice it at your end also. If you encounter any questions, you would be added to a group where you can ask your questions. I'll be able to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you.
So, how about recordings? Recordings will be provided.
Regarding, can you please repeat the question?
No. How about the recordings, class sessions?
Okay, okay. Class recordings. See, the class recordings would be available for 1 year. From the time you take this course, you enroll for this course, you will have your recordings available for 1 year. Post that also, you want to increase your when you want to extend that 1 year validity also, you can call our team. They'll extend it for 1 more year. So there is no problem. Ideally, it is for lifetime, but we restrict it to 1 year. So recordings are available. Once the session is done, after every 45 or 1 hour, post that you can access your recording, that current day's recording. So you have an option, either you visit our website, you create your login there, you can access, or else there is a app also, iOS app as well as Android app. So you can download that app on your mobile and you can access the recordings as well.
Yeah, sure, sir. So this Fabric license, it will be last for only 1 month, no, sir, in that case for us?
No, it is for 60 days, sir. It is for 60 days. Fabric is for 60 days, which is more than enough. See, I may not give you a guarantee, but post 60 days, there is a very high chance that you can increase your license to next 60 days. Power BI or Microsoft team is now giving you an option to extend your Fabric license for next 60 days also. So that flexibility you have, but it is not guaranteed. Definitely 99% of the time I've seen people getting license extended. So I'll show you how it's extended. Even my own license, I'm extending it for every 60 days because Fabric is not publicly completely available. So that is why they are giving that 60 days of extension of trial again and again, which is feasible.
Yeah, sure, sir. So starting from today, it will be last for 60 days, no, sir?
No, not from today. We would give you the email IDs post 5 sessions. 5 sessions would be free sessions. See, I'll not force anyone. I'll not give you an idea that you need to join this course from tomorrow itself. You have 5 free sessions. Attend all free sessions. Post that. If you think my teaching is good enough, you can reach out to our team, enroll for this course. Once you enroll, you would be shared an email ID. Until and unless you activate by yourself, from that day, the license would be activated. It may not be directly activated.
Sure, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you very much. So you're Ritesh, no, sir?
Yep.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for detailed explanation.
Yep. And one more question. If you have, there are people who have a question that if I want to learn Python, I may not recommend, but if you are very eager to learn Python, see, we would be giving you recordings of Python if you pay some 2000 extra. The course is this complete Azure course, except people who have joined with Power BI and SQL, the one who are joining for this course is chargeable at 10,000 Indian rupees, 10K INR, Indian rupees. So if you want to access Python also, you need to pay some 2000 more, where you would be given pre-recorded videos of Python, which you can go back and you can learn by yourself. This is all self-learning. Now, there are people who wants to learn Python, but that too on live classes. There would be a live classes conducted, may not be from my end because I'm not the Python trainer here. There are different Python trainers. I mean, one of our co-founder is also a Python trainer. So there would be sessions given on Python, live sessions. If you want to attend live sessions, it would be 5,000 extra. So 10K plus 2K for recorded videos, or 10K plus 5K for live Python sessions if anyone wants to learn Python. And again, I'm reiterating, I'm not the Python trainer there. Only if it is recommended, if you are very enthusiastic to learn Python, in that case, you can opt for this. If you have Azure, Power BI and SQL, which is more than enough for a BI or a Power BI role, that's enough. I mean, if you want to only limit it to that, I mean, it would be some 10K, except for the people who have joined with Power BI and SQL, one who wants to join for this course. So this is the complete idea. Open for questions again.
Yeah, hi Ritesh, good morning.
Hey Rafi. Swati, just a moment. I'll complete this. Yeah, Rafi, go ahead.
Yeah, if I have my Power BI service account, am I able to access a Fabric, or do we need an extra
Yes.
account for that to use
Yes,
Fabric?
you can access. You can access that 60 days trial.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Ritesh and
Hey.
Swati.
Yeah, sorry.
Actually, I have a basic knowledge on Power BI, but I don't have much flow on that. So, is there any upcoming classes which related to include all the Power BI, SQL, and ADF, all the things?
So you are looking out for evening batch or morning batch?
Anything it is okay for me.
Morning batch, I would be again starting along with SQL in the month of February, second week of February, where I would be
Second.
starting with SQL and then we would be moving to Power BI. If
Okay.
you, I mean, myself as a trainer, that to morning batch. If you're
Okay.
interested for the evening batch, there would be an evening batch starting next week or already it started. I have missed that timeline, but yeah, there are evening batches also where the batch would start with SQL and Power BI. So you need not worry. If you want to learn Power BI, then see, I would recommend only this course to the people who have a good understanding of Power BI. If you are very basics in Power BI, yes, please complete your Power BI. You should have a good understanding and then jump to this course.
Okay. So you're providing the Fabric credential. So is that credential useful to access the Azure portal also?
Azure portal, you can utilize your KSR email IDs. See how
Okay.
Azure portal is activated. Let me simplify it also. In order to activate Azure portal, you need a credit card. Now, the big question is it chargeable? It would ask you for 2 Indian rupees. For US people, it would be some cents. So it
Okay.
will only debit this amount and it will again credit it back within 48 hours. So this Azure portal, which you have activated for the very first time, you will get some 200 US dollar credits or some 13,000 to 16,000 Indian rupees for your practice for first month, which is more than enough. Post that, if you want to practice all this, you can practice it on Fabric because you can extend the Fabric license again and again.
Okay. And that's available only for 1 month, right?
Oh, the Azure portal is available for 1 month. Fabric, you can, as I've said, it's 60 days. You can extend it for next 60 days also. You can see once the 60 days, first 60 days is done, you can wait for 2 or 3 days so that it will give you an option to extend it for next 60 days. The 99% I'll give you a guarantee that it would have an option to extend. 1% chance you need to wait. Sometimes some people go on extending every time, so it will block you for certain days. Post that, it will again re-enable.
Okay. If the evening batches is there, can I go to the evening batch or the tutor?
It's all you, ma'am. It's all you. See, if you are okay with evening batch, you can attend evening batch. If you're okay with morning batch, you can attend morning batch. I'll give you a better clarity if you want to check which is current batch is going on. See, if you are looking out for a morning batch, it would start from second week of Feb. So I would be the trainer there. For evening batch, please reach out to our team. I'm sure that there would be a evening batch which is already started. Maybe only 1 week it has passed. So you can check with our team, check with Mahesh. Now, how to reach out our team? Just a moment. I'll stop sharing this presentation. Now, how to visit our team? We have a website. See, if you mention KSR Data Vision, this is our website. Now, if you visit our website, scroll down, you have contacts given here. You can reach out to either of these contacts. This is the contact of Mahesh 123, ending with last 123, who is the co-founder who has completely managing this KSR. So you can reach out to him. If that person, Mahesh, is busy, he will definitely reach out to you. You can also send a ping on WhatsApp. Also, the WhatsApp link available here. So if you want some information, anything related to evening batch, morning batch, how to enroll, best person is Mahesh. Details I've clearly shared. 10K for this batch, for this complete course, 10K Indian rupees, 1 month, 22 sessions. What all we would be covering, this is all what we would be covering.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, Ritesh.
Hey.
In Microsoft Fabric, what are the topics you are going to cover? Actually, I did not attend the previous demos, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay. See, in Microsoft Fabric, if you take a look at this,
Hmm.
for a data analyst, there is no requirement of this data science.
Okay.
MI, AI, ML, machine learning, this is not our piece of cake. If you visit data engineering, there is a big data also here. Hadoop, it may not be Hadoop, but big data with respect to Azure. So big data, which is more end-to-end data engineering, except these data science and data engineering, we would be covering all other services like data warehouse. In data engineering also, there is storage service, there is Synapse. These all components we would be covering. One lake, yes, we would be covering one lake also. So whichever is useful for a data analyst, all that services we would be covering.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Excuse me. What about this Copilot and one?
We have a Copilot in Fabric. We would be going through that.
Oh, so basics on that or?
No. Copilot is not basic. Copilot is nothing but your chat GPT.
Okay.
What you prompt in chat GPT, it would give you the answer. What you prompt in Copilot in Fabric, it would give you the answer. That's it. Copilot is nothing but your chat GPT. In simple terms, it's a prompt engineering mechanism.
Okay. What about this Microsoft Purview? Down one.
Microsoft Purview is not for our piece. It's not a data analyst. I'll give you an idea what is Microsoft Fabric. In simple terms, Microsoft Purview, right? Microsoft Purview is a data management product or data management service. How you are managing? If you are looking for admin roles, cloud admin roles, Microsoft Purview is for that people.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So I have one general doubt. For example, if a organization is moving from on-premises to cloud, okay, it's for past 15 to 20 years they are using the cloud physical system on-premises, and suddenly they are moving into cloud. And how will they manage and how it is being moved? What is the data capacity, like storage capacity for this? Can you please?
So you have to identify what is your on-premise system.
Okay.
Movement from on-premise to cloud cannot be done in 1 day, 1 month, or even it is not visible in 1 year also. If the data is very high, because since last 15 years you are using this on-prem, so you have to manage. You have to first identify what all services you want to move from on-prem to cloud. If you want to move everything, you have to rectify what is the maximum storage we need to purchase in cloud. And every service has a different rate, different what you say, a different purchase rate is different. I mean, how you're using that. So it all varies. You have to identify which service is best suitable. You want to move everything from on-prem to Microsoft Fabric. Fabric is also nothing but a cloud. So you need to purchase a Fabric end-to-end license, which would cost you some 4,995, which is Power BI premium per capacity, which is nothing but including Fabric. $4,995 per user. It is not per user, it is per capacity. Maybe you can add 300, 400 users to that capacity for a month. For a month, you need to pay $4,995. So you need to think whether which is best. Either you go with single standalone Fabric, or else you can go with individual services. So you need to identify what is the costing of on-prem system, what is the maximum storage, how that on-prem system, if you migrate it to cloud, how it will work. So you need to first trial and do some testing. If it is working fine, then you can move that services slowly. Not everything would be moved in 1 day, 1 month, or 1 year. As I've said, you need to take time. So if you have SQL on-prem, you need to dump that SQL to cloud. So you can dump 5 tables and test if it is working. Then you can dump again 10 tables, 20 tables. So slowly you need to move from on-prem to cloud. That's how the process works.
Okay, sir. You mean to say like using Azure SQL, we need to take the data from on-premises?
No. It is not that way. Whatever architecture is in on-prem, that similar architecture has to be implemented in cloud also. You need to rewrite everything. Okay, may not be data, because you can copy data from on-prem to cloud using ETL service, which is easy. But how you have developed that architecture, that you have to manually design it in cloud also.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Any more questions?
Ritesh, one generic question. Actually. As you said, we can use a Power BI service account to practice Fabric. Use an organization account to practice Fabric, or could be any?
No. It is, see, if you have logged in Power BI service, you might have logged in with your organization email, may not be your personal emails.
Yes.
Yeah. So for that organization email, if you have already activated Fabric, okay, in that case, you need to wait and check if you are able to get the Fabric license again. If you haven't activated once also, you can activate it again. I mean, for the very first time, if you want to activate, you can use your organization email to activate. And it's very easy. See, I'll show you how it works. Just a moment. This is my powerbi.com, app.powerbi.com, which is the Power BI service. Right? So this is my Power BI service. If you go to the leftmost corner on Power BI icon, you will get this Fabric option. You will be directly navigated to the Fabric. Power BI service is also kept in Fabric only nowadays. So this is all your Fabric. Now, how you publish your reports. Now, if I go to Power BI, how you publish your reports to a workspace. Let's assume this is your workspace and you're publishing your reports to this workspace. Similarly, if you want to create any pipeline in Data Factory, see, if I click on this, any pipeline I want to create, data pipeline, see, it will ask you to upgrade it to free Fabric trial. So you need to upgrade it to the Fabric trial. And once similar reports, when you publish it to workspace, similarly, whatever you develop in Fabric, that would be published to a single workspace. Single workspace means, see, you can see current workspace is this workspace. So if you're creating a pipeline in ADF also, it would be published to a workspace. If you're trying to create, again, if I go to here and if I go to data warehouse, in this data warehouse, we have a SQL. You can create a SQL server here. You can create a sample warehouse. So if you want to create this warehouse, see, there is this warehouse option. That warehouse would also be created in a workspace. So the architecture of Fabric is developed on top of Power BI. As you publish your reports to a workspace, dashboard to a workspace, data flows to a workspace. Similarly, what you develop in Fabric, that would be published to a workspace. You need to create a workspace for them.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions? See, we would be starting with very basics. What is cloud architecture? How it works? What is ADF? How ADF works? What is the architecture behind it? Everything we would be discussing. As I've said, ADF we would be discussing end to end. So you need not worry. And that is the only service from a data analyst point of view, which is asked in many companies. Apart from this, Synapse. See, if you learn Power BI and Synapse, okay, it is not, Synapse is not that important. You are a pure data engineer. In that case, you need to know end-to-end Synapse, end-to-end Databricks, because there the concept of Python, PySpark, all that comes into picture. For us, it is SQL important, it is ADF important, and it is Power BI important. That is what our aim is. Any more questions? Uday, if you're speaking, I'm not sure. We are unable to hear you. Maybe you can post your question in the chat. Okay. Any questions? Now, at the end, take a look at this. If you have understood, well and good. If you're not able to understood, still we will again go back and understand how this cloud architecture works. But this is the exact cloud architecture. What is infrastructure, what is platform, and what is software, and what all options you will get in terms of infrastructure, platform, or a software. So we will be going through all this in detail starting tomorrow. The cloud architecture, how it flows, what is the hierarchy of information.
Hello.
Yep, Swati, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for the disturbance, Ritesh. Actually, I have one doubt. A full stack Power BI take how many months of the course?
Okay, full stack Power BI would be starting from SQL for 1 month, Power BI for 2 months, and Azure for 1 month. It would be a complete 4 months course.
4 months course. Is there any practicing sessions and mock interviews are there covered with
Yes.
all the course?
Post your completion, we would be sharing all the important questions. We will have multiple sessions related to agile project management, LinkedIn profile management, your resume preparation. You would
Okay.
be given an option for mock interviews on our website itself. If you visit our website,
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
here there is an option to give a mock interview. Yeah, this AI interview option.
Okay.
Give your mock interviews here also.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Ritesh.
Any other question? Okay, I'm assuming that there are no questions. Let's connect back tomorrow with that same phase. We would be covering the cloud architecture, how the hierarchy is, and then we would be jumping to certain services from day 3 or day 4. Right? Thank you, everyone. I hope that I'm able to answer all your questions. If any of your questions are not answered, or maybe you want to connect, you have some something to discuss personally, always free to connect with Mahesh or any other team member from KSR. If Mahesh is busy, he may not be picking up your call. That doesn't mean he'll never call you back. If he's free enough, he'll again call you back. You can give a missed call to him, or maybe you can ping him on WhatsApp. Right? Assuming that, let's connect back tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Have a very good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.